I am excited. I am super excited about today's review. It is a bottle that I did not think these little hobbit hands would be able to get his hands on, but I did have help. Here are a few hints about the bottle. There are only 2,208 bottles produced. It is from our friends up north. It has a 15-year-old age statement. So do you know what I'm talking about? We're about to find out. So let's get into it. Welcome back to Old Fashioned Ways Plus Plus, and today I am doing a review on Found North Helldiver. I have seen many reviews on this whiskey, however all of them have been from samples sent by the distillery. So I believe I'll be the first to do a review with a pour directly from the bottle. Now, I don't know if this makes any difference, but let's find out. Before we start, I have to give a huge shout out and thank you to @Bloody81. He was the one that found this bottle and got it for me. Without his help, I would never have been able to grab one of these beauties. This is another reason I love this whiskey community, always coming together to help.
You the man.
Well, let's open this up and pour some out. Ooh, nice little bottle pop there, huh? Let's talk a little bit about Found North Helldiver. It is the newest addition to their high altitude collection, and unlike batches where they blend fully matured whiskey, Found North high altitude collection is defined by the process of blend, finish, and reblending. So, adhering to this creation philosophy, Helldiver started as a blend of 15, 22, and 23-year-old corn with 18 and 19-year-old rye added, which they recast into Pedro Ximénez sherry, cognac, and new American oak cask.
I have a few cognacs.
Just like always, because I'm doing a review, I will be giving away samples.
This is the way.
So make sure you stay tuned to find out how you can win a sample of this. Also, if you like these videos, make sure to click on that like button. Just go over there and click on it. And while there, also hit that subscribe and notification bell. I have a lot of fun things coming up and you won't want to miss them. All right, enough of that. Let's get into this bottle. Bottle details: Found North Helldiver. Classification: cask strength whiskey. Distillery: it was bottled by Found North Whiskey. Release date: 2024. Proof: 59.5 ABV, making it 119.0 proof. Age: 15 to 23-year-old whiskeys, which kind of talked about. 15-year-old corn, 22-year-old corn, 23-year-old corn, 18-year-old rye, and 19-year-old rye. Finish: finished in Pedro Ximénez sherry, cognac, and new American oak cask. Mashbill: 85% corn, 40% rye, 1% malted barley. MSRP on this bad boy is about $160. All right, let's start reviewing this. So as usual, my review scoring is 1 to 10 on aroma, flavors, complexity, mouthfeel, finish, and of course, would I buy again? Got my little handy book here so I can take my notes and do my scoring. But let's get into this. I always just kind of like to look at it. It's a nice kind of mid to dark amber. It's not very light, but it's also not very dark. Considering how aged it is, you would expect it to be just a little bit darker.
What's all that white stuff?
But it's pretty. Sticks to the glass pretty well. Takes a moment to start getting some of those legs. Yeah, they're barely starting. They're pretty tight, so they're pretty close to each other and tight coming through that. Let's get into the fun part: aroma. Now, right up front, you do smell that rye. It's not very spicy, but you do have that rye up front smell. It's kind of like almost like a grassy kind of smell to it as well. Ooh, it's interesting because when you smell at different levels, I was taught that one time. I didn't think it really made much of a difference, but actually right there it did. So when I smell it from the top, I actually smell a lot of sweetness to it. You smell like that caramel, a little bit of shortbread there, just sweet. Okay, I'm gonna go into the middle. Okay, get a little bit of like a cocoa chocolate kind of nose there as well. Actually, the aroma's kind of growing on me. I do like that. So for aroma, I know I took a long time on that one. I was just trying a different method. But for aroma, I'm gonna actually give that a 6.5. Now the fun part, the initial taste, flavors. Now that's very interesting. Starts off hot, pretty spicy on my palate. And that's my first drink of the day. So that hit the palate pretty hard.
That's what she said?
There was a lot of evolution on that. It went through a lot of things pretty quickly. And what threw me off, there was this taste in the middle that I haven't tasted before. And I'm hoping to figure out what that is because I don't know. It went so fast that it kind of threw off everything else. So my initial taste was so fast, it's gonna be hard to describe it. So let me see. Let me see what I pick up still. Spiciness. So you get like the spicy nutmeg spice. You do get some vanilla in there. But that spicy allspice is there. a little bit creaminess too. There's like a cream. I think that's what's in my mid palate is a creaminess, and I don't know the flavor of that yet. I'll figure that out in a second. And I don't know. That's all I'm gonna give it, because that went through a quick evolution, and that taste I hadn't noticed before. I have never had before. Can't figure out what it is yet. Threw me off, made me focus on that, and I kind of missed the whole big picture on that. For that reason, I'm actually gonna give that a 5. All right, now complexity. Let's see, how does this evolve on the tongue? I'm hoping with this second taste, I'm gonna kind of focus more on everything and try to figure out what that one in the middle was. But let's go through that. Ooh. Still spicy, more vanilla, clove, kind of like a vanilla wafer, you know, those vanilla wafers.
Man, these aren't real vanilla wafers.
Some that spiciness is a little like it's funny. It's not spicy like a strong rye is, but it's a spice that, like, when you put a little bit too much of a spice in when you're baking, kind of takes over. So that spicy is just really overpowering everything else and kind of knocking all the other flavors that are going through there. Some hint of chocolate, hint of cherry. I mean, I'm trying to pull from it, like this, trying to still taste it. That grassiness kind of, you know, kind of like a baking, you know, what you use for baking. So maybe like a corn, definitely coming through on that. That corn is coming through. That sweetness that kind of threw me off on the first one, I did not get as much on that one. This is interesting.
Very interesting.
I don't know, maybe I should have warmed up my palate before I did this one, but this one's kind of doing some weird stuff to me that's kind of throwing me off. Oh, for complexity, I'm gonna give that a 5 again. Too much going on, which makes it complex, but too much too fast that it's hard to kind of break down and actually taste all the differences. I don't know, let's get into the next one. Let's get into mouthfeel, thickness, viscosity on this. Mouthfeel, it's got some good thickness, got some viscosity, stays on the tongue very well. Actually a little bit on the upper palate, which doesn't happen very often. So that's why when I think it's more, when it's more viscous, it tends to the roof of your mouth. Taste in the front, taste in the middle, tiny hint on the back. There is a little bit of a burn going down, so you get a little bit of the Canadian hug that you're getting here, which is like Canadian. It's a nice friendly hug. It's not anything overpowering. And hug you. And so thickness, viscosity, that is there. That stays in the mouth. It coats it. And you get that creaminess. That creaminess I was talking about, like very creamy, velvety texture over the tongue on the front and the middle. So the mouthfeel I really do like. I like the way it's staying on there. So for the mouthfeel, I'm gonna give that a 6.5. Finish. Let's go for the finish. How does this stay and finish? So the more I drink it, the more it becomes tannic. The more I taste that corn. I do have that sweetness. I do have that vanilla. I do have a little hint of chocolate. But that vanilla, that clove, that baking spices really takes over the most of it. It stays there, front, mid palate. It coats the, you know, part of the roof of my mouth. So it has that all going for it. And I like how long it stays. I mean, it's still there. And through all the drinks, I don't think it ever really left between each one. So for the finish, I am going to give that a 6. Now, would I buy this again? I'm just gonna go in for one drink as I'm thinking about that. This one, $160. That's not bad. You know, I think the Peregrine was, you know, like $200 or $200 something, right? The one before this. So that was a lot pricier. I mean, you got a lot of age in here. You know, you have that, you know, 22-year-old corn and 15-year-old corn and 23-year-old corn, and then the 18 and the 19-year-old rye. But look, it's still pretty light.
I am the light.
You have that nice finish. That's what that is. I finally figured out what hit me that first time that was very unique to me and new to me while drinking a whiskey. It was the cognac finish.
Cognac?
It's that cognac finish that gives you that kind of neat, weird sweetness in the middle. And that's what it was. I'm glad I figured that out. It's the cognac finish that is pretty upfront and strong in that first one. So you get those baking spices that's, you know, a spicier one. And then you get that cognac that's very sweet. And they, you know, they work against each other. And that's what kind of threw me off in the beginning, because you have that spiciness and that sweet kind of coming in, hitting your palate all at once and kind of throwing it off. I don't know. I think this is something I'm going to have to let sit on the shelf and kind of open up more. Would I buy again? For $160, I think that's not a bad price. That's not, you know, it's expensive, but not too expensive for all the age in here, right? Will I be able to find this again? Probably not. So for scarcity, the way that the flavors are kind of fighting each other instead of blending together. I feel like they're working against each other. Like you have a battle coming from two sides attacking in the middle. And then, you know, after a few drinks, it kind of levels itself out a little bit. But the first drink was just wow. It just didn't go in smoothly. It didn't feel like it was evolving. It felt like it was attacking itself. So that was kind of interesting on that. So for 160, if I can find it for 160, I would buy it again. But I'm actually going to give that a little bit of a low score. I'm going to give that a 4. So I went ahead and added up the score, and this was actually a lower score than I thought it would be. It was 33 out of 60. Does it deserve that? I don't know. Does this need to open up? That's possibly it. I probably need to let this open up and taste this again. Maybe I need to warm up my palate before. As I said, it kind of, that first drink threw me for a loop. It was two opposite things kind of hitting my tongue at the same time. My brain didn't know how to process that. There was a lot going on there, but it wasn't like it was a smooth evolution of the blend. It was like things just kind of overpowered each other and me trying to figure that out. So interesting. I still really appreciate you at Bloody81 for getting me this bottle and letting me try this. And plus, I'm gonna share it, right? But wow, different than what I thought.
Yeah, very different.
Different than what I thought going into this. When I saw those other reviews, it's been a while. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen them. So now I'm kind of curious. I'm gonna go back and kind of maybe look at those tonight and see what they thought. I'm glad I don't remember what they thought or you know, hadn't looked at those reviews in a long time because I didn't want them to affect my judgment on this. But wow, that was different. That was very different.
You said that already!
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about how can you win a sample. First of all, if you have not, go hit that like button. It really helps me out. And if you can, share the video. Google loves it when you share. Google likes it when you comment. So if you can do those for me, it helps me out. Then I want you to go into the comments below and talk about your favorite Found North, or if you haven't had Found North, your favorite Canadian whiskey. But I also want you to add hashtag Bloody81 rocks. I will do a giveaway in a few weeks. I'm not sure when. Life's just been super busy for me lately. I have a lot going on, but I promise I will get these out. I always do get my samples out eventually.
Eventually?
Well, guys, thank you again for joining me on another journey down my whiskey rabbit hole. To our next journey, my friends, cheers.